Let's imagine what's going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. Because I believe that the changes ahead are going to keep on accelerating. We certainly have computers in 10 years' time that are at least 100 times as cheap, or as powerful, or as small as today's. They'll be even smaller. There'll be much more wireless information sent around. That's only a start on what's going to change. You know about 3D printing. 3D printing is when you can actually order things and have them printed on demand. And we're going to get better and better at that. We'll be printing, 3D printing, all kinds of things, whether it's replacement body parts, whether it's food even, clothing. And with nanotechnology, we'll be able to create new kinds of materials which are lighter than ever before, stronger than ever before, sometimes more rigid than ever before, sometimes more flexible than ever before. Things like graphene or nanotubes you may hear people talking about. And what does that mean? It means new ways to build houses, it means new ways to build robots, which are very lifelike. You won't be able to tell whether the robots are human or not, just from a distance. It means also manipulating things on that very small scale. The computers will be even smaller than before. And instead of occupying a room, which they did 50 years ago, instead of occupying a smartphone, which they do today, you'll have very powerful computers which can fit inside your bloodstream. People will be able to inject them inside, they'll be able to travel around your body, figuring out, right, this is the cancerous cells that needs dealing with. And it'll be far, far more pleasant than the horrific chemotherapy that takes place today. And in due course, they'll be able to go into the brain and figure out, here are the tangles in the brain that need to be undone. So you already know there's a lot of storm about GM, genetically modified stuff, and there should be a lot of storm about it, because if we're not careful, we're going to do bad things. But there's also a great deal of good potential too. I talked about creating new foodstuffs. We won't need these vast farms. We won't need to have the terrible things that we do to animals inside battery farms. We'll be able to manufacture this lovely food, can be done by a new biotech rather than having animals to do it. But more than that, we'll be able to re-engineer our genetics. Not just have designer babies, which we may or may not want to do, but we'll be able to, in some case, re-engineer ourselves. We'll be able to know, right, the reason I've got this problem, in partly it's nature, partly it's nurture, but in some cases, you know, changing the genes will mean that you don't get a particular disease and you can become much fitter. And we'll use a lot of the skills of software to change the software of the human beings, which isn't in silicon, as it is in computers, but it's in carbon, it's in DNA, as it is in human beings. Understanding cognition, understanding mood, understanding how the brain works. Because we've got all these new scanners, you know, these fMRI scanners and all the other kind of scanners, we can understand more precisely than ever before what's really going on inside this extraordinarily complex thing inside all of our heads. And we'll be able to mimic some of the effects of meditation. You know, some people can improve their moods by meditation. Maybe we'll be able to do that with the right kinds of drugs as well. We will have smart drugs which can impact the way the brain works. We'll be able to change people's moods. So, hopefully you're seeing a lot of the stuff I'm talking about is in Brave New World.